Ad Yat Praharanad Yat Smaranad Api Kvachit Swadopi Sadhya Savanaya Kalpate Kuta Punaste Bhagavanu Darshanat. Can someone decide?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yannamadheya Shravananukirtana Yat Prahvanad Yat Smaranadapi Kvachit Svado api Sadyah Savanaya Kalpate Kutah Punaste Bhagavanu Darshanat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can someone recite, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yannamadheya Shravananukirtana Yat Prahvanad Yat Smaranadapi Kvachit Swadopi Sadyah Savanaya Kalpate Kutah Punaste Bhagavanu Darshanat. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Translation: to say nothing of the spiritual advancement of persons who see the Supreme Person face to face. Even a person born in a family of dog eaters immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if he once utters the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offers him obeisances, or even remembers him. So these words, this is a Mother Dehuti is glorifying Lord Kapila. Like they have a discussion where Lord Kapila speaks to Mother Dehuti about various spiritual topics, Sankhya philosophy, and at the end of that, Mother Dehuti offers some prayers, and this is one of that prayer, the shloka. So here, Mother Dehuti is saying that anybody who does even little bit of bhakti, Swalpamapi Asya, even little bit, even unknowingly, they become eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. Whoever they may be within Varnashrama, or they may be outside Varnashrama, outcast, or within Varnashrama like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or outcast. So if they perform little bit of bhakti, what is bhakti? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Achanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So by hearing about Krishna's pastimes, offering obeisances unto him, or even just remembering him, Smaranam, he becomes purified inside and out. And he is situated above Brahmana. He's situated above Varnashrama. And such a person is eligible to perform various Vedic sacrifices. So in Vedas, in Rig, Yadur, Sam, Atharva Veda, there are many sacrifices, yajnas, are prescribed for different fruits to go to attain something on earthly plane, or to attain heavenly planets, or to enjoy very high class sense gratification. There are many sacrifices that are prescribed in Vedas. But anybody who utters a name, even if he's outcast, he can perform all those sacrifices. Usually those sacrifices are performed only by Brahmanas within the social order. So, so that is a power of bhakti, little bit of bhakti by anybody. So what to speak of a person who is doing consciously devotional service of the Lord and seeing him face to face. So here Mother Devati is seeing Lord face to face. And so she is assured, she's assured that my deliverance is guaranteed by the mercy of the Lord. No, even Lord takes care of a person who just utters his name once. So what to speak of person who is doing regularly his devotional service, sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti. So that is a glorification of here. Mother Devati is glorifying the process of devotional service. So previously, Lord Kapila starts with explaining Sankhya Yoga, all the elements of the material world, and then he goes on to how a soul takes birth, means accepts a body, how it leaves the body, and what happens after it leaves the body, and how the transmigration happens. And Lord Kapila explains devotional service in 4 types of devotional service. There are 3 types which are saguna bhakti, which are mixed with gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, and there is a nirguna bhakti, which is transcendental pure bhakti. So Lord Kapila explains all those 4 types of devotional service. He explains the transmigration. He explains the importance of sadhu sangha. He explains who is sadhu and how a person can get delivered by taking association of a sadhu. So various topics are explained. So Mother Devati understands that ultimately to do pure bhakti, you need to take shelter of a sadhu. And here, right here, we can see that Mother Devati throughout her life, she has taken shelter of Kardama Muni and now her son, Lord himself, Lord Kapila. So she's so confident that she will be taken care, she will be delivered by the mercy of the Lord. So here, but how is that in a Brahmana who as per Bhagavad Gita, he has all good qualities like Saucham, Shama, Titikshava, all this tolerance and cleanliness and truthfulness, all these things, but he may not attain higher destination. But whereas he may not attain the lotus feet of Krishna, but whereas an outcast, he just takes up devotional service and he attains lotus feet of Krishna. What's the difference? Why it's so? Here Prabhupada explaining that how Rupa Goswami has discussed these things in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So when we do bhakti, the first thing that happens is
Prabhuji, can you increase the font size?
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Not able to increase. For some reason, I'm not able to increase it.
Yeah, it is not increased. It is increased.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, it is better than the earlier one.
Okay. Yeah. So Rupa Goswami explains that the purificatory process that we undertake ritually in social order is not permanent. But whereas the purification that happens by doing bhakti is permanent, means the result is permanent. The first symptom of doing bhakti is klesha agni, and second is shubhada. So how the sinful reactions get cleared off. So by following the process of Purascharya and Upanayanam and all within the social order, they mitigate, they reduce the sinful reactions tremendously, but they don't uproot the seed of the Papa. Papa Bija is not taken out. Papa Bija is not taken out. But whereas it's a person, when he does bhakti, the purification happens at the same time the Papa Bija is completely burnt, it roasted, so that it doesn't again fructify. There are many examples that in our history, in our Puranas, where there are many Brahmanas, they are ritualistic Brahmanas, but they fall down and eventually they take bhakti seriously and get delivered. One example is we have Valmiki Maharshi himself. He was born in a Brahmana family, but he somehow he falls down and he becomes dacoit. He's a highway robber. And he kills, loots a lot of people on the highway. And that's how he makes his living. Of course, in the name of charity, he does that. By the association of Narada Muni, he has a change of heart and he does bhakti. So before he was Brahmana, though, but then he fall down, and by the mercy of Narada Muni, he chants Lord Rama's name and gets purified, and he becomes Valmiki Maharshi. And another example is Ajamil. Ajamil is also born in Brahmana family, but there was Papa Bija still in his heart that he gets attracted to a woman and he falls down. But at the time of death, somehow the Lord gives mercy. He does a namabas. He accidentally calls Narayana, but it is actually his son's name. He didn't address Lord Narayana actually, but still when he said Narayan, so Vishnu Dutas came running to save him. So he got a second chance. Then he became devotee. And when he became devotee, all his Papa Bijas, the seeds of the Papa are burned. What are the seeds of Papa? Lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, and illusion. They get burnt away. So the sinful reactions on sinful propensities are completely destroyed when someone does bhakti. But just by following rituals and being pure at the level of social order as a Brahmana is not a permanent result. The purification is not permanent. Activities done in bhakti are permanent, whereas activities done in a social order are not permanent. So it tells that this Varnashrama is within the jurisdiction of material activities. Okay. It is pleasing to Lord Vishnu, but it is not the ultimate goal of human life. The ultimate goal of human life is to worship Krishna. This is what, in fact, Rai Ramananda tells to Lord Chaitanya in the discussion on the banks of Godavari that, okay, Varnashrama is okay, but that is not eternal. And it doesn't give eternal result. It doesn't really help. It will give you peaceful life, maybe, but it is not permanent. But bhakti devotional service is permanent. So, but again, in true sense, Prabhupada explained that a true Brahmana means one who knows Brahman. That is what it is. It is Brahmana is not someone who is ritualistic, but a Brahmana is someone who knows Brahman. Brahman means someone who knows spiritual, someone who knows spirit, or someone who knows about transcendental knowledge. So he is true Brahmana. That's why Krishna addresses. There's a prayer where we pray that Namo Brahmanya Devai Go Brahmana Itaya Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Nama. That Krishna, the cows and Brahmanas are very dear to Krishna. So here the cows we know, but the Brahmanas means not the ritualistic Brahmanas. The Brahmana who are situated on transcendental platform, Shuddha Sattva, who know Brahman, who know the difference between spirit and matter. They are very dear to Krishna. Okay. Anybody who has clear distinction or realize the distinction between spirit and matter, they become dear to Krishna. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita as well, throughout Bhagavad Gita, that how Krishna is very devotees who pursue transcendence, who understand spirit and matter, they are very dear to Krishna. Yeah. So here Rupa Goswami explains that how really the purification happens. The purification in Varnashrama is not eternal, but purification in Bhakti is eternal. Yeah. And one more consideration is even someone gets elevated when chanting, that is only when he does offenseless chanting. So whoever it may be, Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra or outcast, if they are chanting offenselessly, they get benefit. Otherwise, it doesn't have much effect. So a proper explains some consideration here. He's saying that another consideration here is that persons who are purified, the process of chanting and hearing become immediately eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. Generally, only a person who is born in a family of Brahmanas who have been reformed by the 10 kinds of purificatory processes and who is learned in Vedic literature is allowed to perform the Vedic sacrifices. Here, the word sadhya immediately is used. So even the purification that happens in Varnashrama is you have to undergo a lot of effort. There are 10 kinds of samskaras you have to do. Starting from Garbhodana samskara. So there are at least 10 kind of samskaras are there, purascharya and everything. So it is very tedious process. Then you enter into actually performing Vedic sacrifices, yagnas. But whereas a low caste, a chandala or a dog eater, it doesn't need to go all this reformation. Doesn't need. But a person who chants holy name of the Lord, even if born in a family of chandala, dog eaters, does not need reformation. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, he immediately becomes purified and becomes as good as the most learned Brahmana. So our usually Brahmana means you are situated in Sattva Guna, whereas devotee Vaishnava means you are situated in Shuddha Sattva. That's why a Vaishnava is above Brahmana. But many caste Brahmanas don't agree with that. Actually, there was a lot of problems that arise when Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was preaching in India at that time. He declared that Vaishnavas are superior to Brahmanas. Though the Smarta Brahmanas, the caste Brahmanas, did not like that because it was affecting their livelihood and also the sense of power of controlling how to do the vidhis and all. But in reality, Saraswati Thakur has given a big lecture in West Bengal, in a place called Mednipur, like Vaishnava and Brahmana, who is superior. And it was like 6 hours long discourse. And he established that Vaishnava is superior because he is acting on the platform of transcendental platform. Whereas Brahmana is more like a ritualistic. So So usually initiation depends on the bona fide spiritual master who directs the disciple. If he sees that a disciple has become competent and purified by the process of chanting, he offers a sacred thread to the disciple just so that he will be recognized as 100% equal with a Brahmana. So Saraswati Thakur has started initiating his disciples who are not born in Brahmana family as Brahmanas and gave them Gayatri mantras. Because once you become Vaishnavas, you are eligible to perform the deity worship and on yagnas. So to keep up with that, Saraswati Thakur offered the sacred thread to Vaishnavas who are not born originally in Brahmana family. And this also caused a lot of problem for the smarta Brahmanas, because they are mainly looking at with the view of social order, whereas Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is seeing from the view of transcendental platform. So a Vaishnava is more Brahmana than a ritualistic Brahmana in a true sense. It doesn't matter their background. And same thing is followed by Srila Prabhupada as well. Even Srila Prabhupada, when he came to West, you see all the young boys and girls, they didn't have any kind of purificatory process. They didn't have any kind of samskaras, Vedic samskaras. But just by submitting themselves, surrendering to pure devotee, they at once elevated their position to transcendental platform. And they became above Brahmana. And Prabhupada gave them Hare Krishna Mahamantra initiation and also gave them Gayatri initiation. And the Gayatri initiation is quite different compared to the Smarta Gayatri initiation. Here, the Gayatri initiation here that we have in Vaishnava culture is to actually serve our Ishtadev, to meditate on our Ishtadev. So these Gayatris that we get here is not just the Brahma Gayatri, but we get Guru Gayatri and Gaura Gayatri and Kama Gayatri. So these are mainly towards devotional service, not to do any kind of karmic Vedic rituals. So our Diksha Vidhan is different, whereas the Diksha Vidhan of Smarta Brahmanas are different. But still, there was a lot of problems that occurred during that time, during Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Thakur's time, because it was a revolution that was created. It was a revolution that time, that how a Vaishnava who is not born in Brahmin family, how can he get a sacred thread and how can he perform Vedic rituals? But Saraswati Thakur has destroyed all those misconceptions, established what Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, that it is all guna karma vibhaga. It is all because a person, because of his past pious activities, he may take birth in a Brahmin family, but if he doesn't continue that, if he doesn't uphold it, or if he doesn't improve himself, then there is no point. But whereas a person may be born outside Brahmana family, but if he starts behaving like a Brahmana with all those nice qualities, like speaking truthfully, cleanliness, tolerance, studying scriptures, and all, they are definitely considered Brahmana. So we have to understand that it is all about guna karma. And Vaishnavas even don't really care whether, whether what kind of ashrama they are in, varna they are in. They are only mainly concerned how to serve Lord, how to please Lord. They are mainly interested in Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. They are not interested in these Vedic rituals or Vedic yajna sacrifices. that we perform to attain something material. Something material. There are so many yajnas, like there are Rajasuya yajna is there, Ashwamedha yajna is there. So where you attain so many higher positions and a lot of wealth and no enemies, always victorious. But a devotee is not interested in all those things. He's just interested in serving Krishna, pleasing Krishna. And how that is done is by Navavidha Bhakti, by doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So when a person becomes Vaishnava, when he takes initiation, he automatically becomes Dvija, means he is reborn again. Till that point, before he met the sadhu, he had one life, but once he meets a sadhu, his life changes. Like as we know in the example of Valmiki Maharshi and Ajamil. So especially Valmiki Maharshi, though he was Brahmana before, he actually became true Vaishnava after getting association of Narad Muni. How did that happen? Happened because Narad Muni has implanted Bhaktilata Bij in the heart of Ratnakar, the dacoit. His name was Ratnakar. He implanted that. He put the seed. He showed him the true nature of this material world. All this because Ratnakar was doing all sinful activities to maintain his family and his society and to help the poor people. But ultimately, it's sinful activity. Narad Muni says that for all your sinful activities, you are the one who are going to go hell. No one is going to share your sinful activities. So when he understood that, he realized that he is all alone. In fact, everybody is all alone because everybody is born alone and they die alone. Even when we are around people also, we are still alone because that's how it is. In material world, it is like that because there is no connection between one person to another person. It's all more like a false ego running around. Different false egos are colliding. Whereas when we attain spiritual world, we are not alone. We are with Krishna and all his associates. There is no false ego, there is a real ego. When there is a real ego, we feel that oneness with the Lord and all his other Nitya Parshads. So to really be not to be alone means to be with Krishna and his devotees. If you are not with Krishna and devotees, even if you are in between 1 billion people, you are still alone. So the real way to know that we are all one in service to Krishna is to be in devotional service. So Ratnakar, when he had the change of heart, what happened? Narada Muni has planted Bhaktilata Bij and he gave the holy name Rama to chant Ramanam. So he was chanting the Ramanam, he got purified. All his sinful reactions, sinful activities have stopped, sinful reactions have destroyed, and the bijas, the seeds of sins have been completely roasted. And he became pure person. And he was seeing Ram in his consciousness always. He was beholding that. Because when he got the name Ram from his spiritual master, he was having darshanat. He was having Bhagavanu darshanat. He was seeing Lord in his consciousness, in his purified consciousness always. When he was saying Ram, he was, in the Naam you have Roop, Gun and Leela. So he was not only seeing, just by the name Ram, he was seeing Ram's Roop, Ram's gunas and Ram's Leelas and Ram's associates. That's how he was able to write whole Ramayana, even before it actually happened. Valmiki was able to write whole Ramayana. Even the Ramayana was going on, but still he was able to complete it, because in Nam you have Leela and Parshad also, all his associates. So he was able to see everything in his consciousness, in his purified consciousness, in his Hridaya Akasha, in the heart of his sky. Was able to see. That is the power of the holy name. That has happened only after he became Vaishnava. He was a Brahmana, but that was of no use. Only by becoming Vaishnava, he was able to know who he really was and had darshan of Bhagavan. So here Mother Devahuti is saying that by Vaishnava, who is having darshan of the Lord constantly, they are delivered. What to speak of them, such people like Valmiki Maharshi, Ajamil later, he became pure devotee of the Lord. He got second chance. And here Mother Devahuti is also saying the same thing. And anybody who starts devotional service, they are also delivered. It's just a matter of time. He may be outcast or he may be Brahmana, it doesn't matter. If you start devotional service, if you start Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, then you are almost at your end point. It's just a matter of time. It depends on how fast you want to go. If you want to go fast to the lotus feet of Krishna, you have to make effort to do devotional service without offenses. To do Vaishnava Seva and open our heart to devotees and accept their transcendental sound vibration into our heart. That is what we need to do. That is what Sharanagati means. To accept the transcendental vibration of devotees into our heart. Shabda Brahma. Because from Shabda, everything is revealed. Nam, Rum, Gun, Lila. So this is very, these chapters are very heavy. I would say you read these previous chapters as well, chapter 29, 30, 31, 32. Lord Kapila explains so many things here, how birth happens, actually how baby birth, the development of baby in the womb happens, and various types of devotional services, and what happens after death, the transmigration. So many things are explained here wonderfully. So please read that.